Today is Saturday, October 15th, 2016. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the Listener Feedback Show for Episode 4 of Millennials versus Gen X.
It is overcast here. We're in between storms. It's blustery. I think blustery is a good word. As I was up on the roof just prior to this, I was thinking, yes, it is a blustery day. A very Winnie the Pooh blustery day.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to bring that back around.
You loved Winnie the Pooh.
I did, absolutely.
I have pictures of you and your Winnie the Pooh doll.
Yep, that was the one where I was it is a bear. I think I had to perform surgery or something
dolls,
like that. No, I don't have action figures.
Those are dolls.
Action
they
figures.
Are absolutely
Big Jim,
dolls.
Kung Fu Grip,
Dolls.
G.I. Joe, action figures.
No.
There's a difference.
No.
Yes, there is. Just like there's a difference in how some people play hidden immunity idols.
We digress.
And we're going to talk about, see how I'm bringing it around?
Good job.
We're going to get some feedback from the other super fans, what they thought about David and his choice. And I have a theory that I'm going to share at the end. I may have figured out this mystery of David's hidden immunity idol play there in episode 4 that I look forward to sharing with you.
Oh, I can't wait to hear.
But first, let's check in with some other folks and see what they thought about episode 4 and any predictions they may have for the shuffle and what comes next, although admittedly that's incredibly difficult. We got a call from Pete.
Hey, Joanne and Steve. This is Pete from Boston calling here, and I gotta go say with this type of episode, baby, woo! Yeah, baby. That was indeed, as I like to call it, a doozy-woozy of an episode. Oh, man. And I love this season, and I love this show so much. So let me get into it. So first, the Millennials. My hat is off to one of my favorites, Adam, sneaking out and finding the idol. And I gotta say, even though there was a marking on it to show what the idol looked like, the circle, I gotta say, though, unlike how David found his in the coconut, which was easy, I could have found it. They made it much harder, it seems, at the Millennial camp. And Adam seemed to really have to work to find it. So kudos. And hopefully everything's okay with his mom. And I like Zeke in this episode, too. Kudos to him, too, for blurting out what the immunity puzzle was. My God, someone has a brain, but that was one tough puzzle, I gotta say. And my hat goes off to Zeke out there. And actually, those girls were great, especially Michala. She's a stud, just like Cindy from last season. Gotta watch her. And now the losing Gen Xers. Well, all I gotta say is Lucy, Mulan Lucy, trying to be the boss. You knew she had it coming, but I gotta be honest, I really thought this was a tough episode for Jessica. She thought she made a big move when she got rid of Paul, and look what happened. Now you got Lucy and Sunday feeling as though she's the one running the show and working with the big studs of Brett and Chris to get rid of her. And then you see Ken trying to help her out there, and she doesn't buy it. And to add insult to injury, makes it even worse for her because even Ken ends up turning on her, which I still don't know if that was right on Ken to blurt it out. All right, on to Tribal. And I gotta say, wow, that was indeed a shocker, Joanne and Stacy. What do you guys think? I never would have thought David would have played the idol to save Jessica. Wow. And I really don't know if that was the right move. I mean, it was a big move, yes, and he saved her. But at the same time, was it the right move? I don't know, because now his hands are tied. You got a swap coming, and numbers is a huge factor now. I think if anything, this is going to benefit Brett and Chris more than it will David. Maybe it'll help Ken, and I'm hoping it helps Jessica, because I like Jessica. What do you think? And let's see if the odd couple of Figgy and Taylor stay together. Oh, I'd love to see them get split. That would make my millennium. Ha ha ha. But I'm digging this season, guys. I love it. And I gotta say, Chris is just like the Hulk smash. And Brett reminds me of Big Sarge. You may remember from Survivor Vanuatu. He looks almost like him, too. Boston Strong, babe. Take care, guys.
All right. Thanks, Pete. Yep, definitely a lot going on there. I spent most of the week wondering what David's objective was, what was driving that. And I started to think maybe it's not rational. Maybe there's something else behind the scenes.
Are you trying to tease us?
A little bit. Is it working?
Okay, not for me.
No, not at all. All right. Well, thanks again, Pete. Moving on, let's check in. We got a call from Parker.
Hey, it's Parker from Indiana. I know, it's right after the episode, but I thought this was a great episode, so I just had to get it all out right now. To start off, that was an awesome reward challenge. I always love the water challenges like these. I think they're so cool. And I'm always so terrified that someone is going to drown. But I was rooting for the Gen Xers in this challenge because, man, Chris and Brett rocked it. Ken also. And David actually did pretty good, too. But it was pretty funny watching him try to swim. Moving on, Adam, man. I love that guy. So happy you found the idol. Adam is, I'm just saying, Adam's my favorite person out here. If he makes it to the merge, I'll probably switch him as my winner pick. I love Adam. And can I just add, I love how the new seasons of Survivor showcase the strategy, because I love watching the strategic gameplay. You know, the early seasons, they didn't have much strategy, so there was more camp life, but I really enjoy the new school Survivor because of the strategy, and I think some people don't, but I think the game has evolved for the better. And one thing that has been important through all of Survivor is the social game. And some players don't realize how important it really is. And Lucy is one of those players. You know, you have to get to know people on day one, and then you figure out how to talk to them, how to address strategy to them. She failed, and I think that was her demise. She had a terrible social game, and I love that tribal. Next time looked pretty cool, and I really, really hope that Taylor and Figgy get split up, because that would be all.
All right. Thanks, Parker. I think there was some extra insight in the additional videos on Lucy and in our interview, right? There, in the extra interviews, she talked about what happened on night one. She got super cold and she just shut down. I guess the second thing is that she says she's normally more of an introvert. So she's in her head thinking things through. I would not have guessed that she would describe herself that way, no. But she did. That's how she sees herself. And she said that she got really worried that she was getting close to hypothermia that first night. Mm-hmm. And the other folks were all around and talking and sharing stories. And she was just getting colder and shivering, and she didn't want to appear weak, and she didn't say anything. And then she got really scared for her own safety, she said. And I think that might have caused her to shut down even more and make fewer of those connections early on, like Parker was talking about, that could have impacted her social game. Although she also said that she was really proud of working hard on that first alliance, the one that included Paul.
Well, after the first day, though, it was that first night. And she said it actually made things easier after that because she survived that first night.
Right.
She didn't think anything could be that bad again, with the weather and the...
She was saying that she came close to quitting.
Yeah, She
right?
was that. Well,
was going to
bodybuilders
her
don't
height.
have a lot of body fat.
She also said that. She thought that was a disadvantage
They
for
don't.
her.
That's
Right.
just, I've actually worked on a few bodybuilders, and,
Yeah, a lot of the people, there are people out there who are super fit. Ken, even Michala, I'm sure she's got a pretty low percent body fat if her abs are that ripped. So certainly hard. A lot of people go out with low percentage body fat, but probably Lucy was one of the lowest ones out there for sure. Anyway.
Well, and she even said she ate more probably out there than she normally does.
Yeah. To Parker's point, it probably did damage her social game, and it made it rocky, a little harder for her to get out of the gate. Mm-hmm. That and this perception she had of, hey, I say what to do. And even though she knew she shouldn't do that, she carried it out there.
And, on some level, thought it would be appreciated just to be blunt. I prefer blunt
That's
people.
self-fulfilling prophecy.
And there's blunt.
Yeah.
It's a blunt with a little tact, maybe. But
as opposed to probably what you really need, which is to constantly be reading and assessing your tribe mates and adjusting dynamically to what they need.
That she did get that.
She got it afterwards.
Yeah, too late, but she did get it.
She, in the interview too, she seemed like it had been transformational for her. She grew and learned a lot about herself. Even though she was there a short amount of time, sounded like it had a pretty decent impact on her life from what she shared with us.
Yeah, and her relationships.
Yeah, good deal. Thanks again, Parker. Next up, we got an email from Nicola in Lexington, Kentucky. Hi, Joanne and Stacy and fellow Survivor fans. Well, I'm just going to shoot this off before time gets away from me again, and I missed the deadline. I've not listened to the recap show yet either. I just wanted to say, what the heck did we just see? David, really, David? For a so-called superfan, I cannot believe you would throw your idol away so early in the game. And for Jessica? Did I miss something? I know it's all about big moves, but wow. Why would you not go with the majority? Now you have a double whammy with Brett and Chris. Great TV, but not necessarily a good move for him. My daughter and I were both yelling at the TV. Then comes next week on Survivor, and maybe David knew something we didn't. The swap will either save him or he'll be off next. We loved both the challenges. The location of the first one was absolutely spectacular. I'm glad no one got really hurt in that challenge, as we have seen in the past. I suspect the swell helped in that respect, as people had to focus on keeping themselves upright as well as trying to contain an opponent. The second challenge was also a lot of fun. I definitely thought David would pull it off, but nope. Did I see that it was over 45 minutes before they solved it?
Yes.
Would have been fun if we, the viewer, could have seen all the letters to see how close we could have been to solving it.
Yeah, I would like that.
Yeah, there's someone else mentions exactly that too a little later on. Well, I'm off to work. Can't wait to hear everyone's thoughts. Have a great weekend. Thanks for all you do, Joanne and Stacy. And thank you, Nicola. Next up, we got a call from JP.
Hi, this is JP from Boston. I'm calling because I wanted to share a little thought that I have about David. I think that if I ever get to be cast on Survivor, I will be playing a very similar game to what David is doing. He found himself, sadly, at the bottom of his group at the beginning of the game just because of how his personality is and how he, interacts with other people and also the decisions that he was taking. So when he found the idol, and him being a writer, I feel like he knows that if he's at the bottom of the alliance, if he's at the bottom of the tribe, and he might be voted off soon, then I can either play to try to turn that around and actually go further in the game and possibly win, or should I play the game in a way that might guarantee me the opportunity of coming back on a later season if I am connected enough with the audience, or if I'm an entertaining player overall, perhaps not necessarily the best player, but an entertaining player. And I think that he's doing that tonight, or he did that tonight with the playing of the idol, even though it's very early in the season, and as most Survivor fans know, that it is pretty common for switches to happen before the merge now, and a switch could happen at any moment. Really, why would he want to play the idol tonight? But he did, and I feel that part of the decision was because, I have to make a statement and play a bold game from the beginning, and if that gets me to the end, then great, that will get me to the end. But if it doesn't, then at least in the back of my mind, there's the idea of like, okay, I gave them enough Survivor drama, or I gave them enough great gameplay, or I gave them enough bold moves to guarantee me to come back for a later season. I really hope that he comes back, regardless whether he's voted off next week or not, or if it goes to the end, or even if he wins. Like, I would love to see him come back to Survivor with a renewed sense of confidence or less anxiety, or very similar to any of the other people who watch, or any of the people who watch RuPaul's Drag Race, what Katya had happened, which is in her first season, she was a ball of nerves, and then she comes back with this sense of confidence in herself. So I would think that David, it would be very similar, like coming back with confidence on a second term, and a second game, and see how he does then. I really hope that happens. Thank you so much. I love your podcast. And hi to my friend Titus. Bye.
Thanks, JP. What do you think about that theory that David's working a plan B?
I always thought he had some plan going. I don't know exactly what it is. I had my theories too, but you didn't like my theory. But
what was your theory?
About him wanting to pull the four of them together. Ken, because he thought, he could have Ken, himself, Cece, and Jessica.
Well, I just didn't see it. It's not that I didn't like it. It didn't add up. It was like a formula that didn't work for me. Like, I get a different result when I run those numbers there. That's all.
It obviously worked in David's mind for some reason.
Yeah, JP perfectly described Cochran's 2 seasons there. That's what I was thinking. I like the other reference too, but if it was like a desperation plan B, maybe that makes some sense. You got to go wacky for this to click right now, it seems like. So I like that. Thanks for calling and sharing that, JP. Next up, we got a call from Shea.
Hey guys, this is Shea. First of all, when Adam found the reward and started talking about his mother, my grown husband, who's a man's man and built like a brick house, broke down in tears and said he's rooting for Adam. And I agreed. At least on that team, that's who I'm for. I'm not sure if I agree with you guys on Ken being whiny. I think he simply wants to be treated with some respect. I think he just wants like kumbaya type of feel. I mean, you're out on an island. That's how you want to feel, out on the beach under the palm trees. And I think he thought when they got rid of Paul that would be the feeling of it, and then to immediately be told what to do, how to do it, and where to do it by someone new just frustrated him, and I think it would me too. Oh, I definitely hope the Lovebirds get split up. For sure, without a doubt. I actually liked both challenges, whereas you guys were just waiting for the immunity challenge to end. I was waiting for someone to drop someone. I thought it was very suspenseful. I thought for sure Chris was a goner. Yeah, I think what David did was very brave. Whether it works out for him, I don't know. Statistically, if things go the way they should in life, there should be 4 against 3 there. She'd be an idiot to not run to Ken and David. It was proven to her that David is on her side and that Ken was telling the truth, so Jessica would be an idiot to not do that, but I've seen people do stupider things on that show. So I think it was one of the most interesting episodes of Survivor I've seen in a long time. I mean, just so much happened. You guys have a great day. I cannot wait to hear what everybody else thought. I think I love the podcast as much as I love the show. And the people that I've been listening to for the last 2 or 3 years commenting, I feel like they're my friends, and I can't wait to hear what they think. You guys have a great day. Bye.
What an awesome characterization of the listener feedback show. I love that. Thanks, Shea. Next up, we got an email from WT.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy. In reference to David playing his idol, did you notice the contempt Brett and Chris had towards Ken when he indicated that he liked vinyl? If their opinion of Ken is that low, can you imagine how David must be treated around camp? We've also seen at least 2 places where David is made fun of openly by the other men in the tribe. I've heard a lot of talk about how the swap was obvious, but we don't know how obvious that was to David. Do you think David's idol play was at least in part an effort to publicly assert himself as a decision maker to the tribe?
Could be, I guess.
Also, what do you think the fallout will be from the ultra-paranoid Jessica now that she has had such a close call? On another issue, if it's of any value to the community, The conflict between Zeke and Hannah reminded me of a passage about how to deal with that situation in John Gray's book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Namely, Zeke needed to reassure Hannah that he would talk to her when he could.
I think he did that
I
multiple
thought he did
times.
too, yeah. Needed to say something definitive like, I will talk to you tomorrow.
Did say
or,
that.
I will talk to you when I cool down. Adam seems to get this message across in some form right before Hannah leaves, but I wonder if the three of them could have been able to do it more gracefully. I bring it up because I have a great many sisters, and the technique seems to work for me. I also bring it up because I'm cheering for Adam, Zeke, and Hannah to go far.
There you go. I think that's a good plan.
Yep. At any rate, thank you for all the work you put in to make this podcast. All right. Thank you, WT. Up next, we have a voice clip from Becca-n-Liam.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. Hi, Survivor fans. It's Becca in Illinois. Liam is at soccer practice right now, so he can't chime in. But if we have a little bit of time when it's over for him to send a quick hello before the deadline, I will have him say bye, Survivor fans. We watched the episode together on Wednesday night. It's actually super duper handy because we have our little girl who we like to try and get her to go to sleep in the car when we're on our way home from eating out on Wednesday nights. And the promise of being able to stay up and watch Survivor if he's nice and quiet so that way Caroline can fall asleep works out really well for everyone involved. Like you, Joanne and Stacy, Liam preferred the first challenge to the immunity or community challenge. And my complaint about the immunity challenge is that they show, when it's a word puzzle, they show what the word is supposed to be. I would rather just have the scrambled letters so I could see how well I would do because I love word puzzles. I actually had to go to a costume bunko night last weekend and I kind of forgot all about it, and I ended up dressing up as a Survivor contestant, and I got a lot of compliments on my costume. The best thing about it was that I didn't take a shower that day, and I didn't have to feel bad about it because I thought it just added to the authenticity of the costume. My bunko group is mainly full of military spouses, so as we were talking about Survivor, we talked about how the family visits often hit us emotionally because we are no stranger to long separations. And even though the 39 days isn't as long as most of the separations we've gone through, we all agreed that the extra exhaustion and just like the survivor factor really must enhance those emotions of being away from your loved ones. Speaking of loved ones, Figgy and Taylor, I do hope they get split up. I would prefer to see how that plays out rather than the other way around. And I was so excited about the tribal council. I don't know if it benefits him, but you know what? It was fun to watch. And Stacy, I agree. Jessica's eyes did look to be cleared up. They showed a lot of them during tribal council, and I was so glad that they weren't as bad as they were before. And here's Liam.
Here's Liam. Hi, Joanne and Stacy. Hi, Survivor fan. It's me, Liam. Oh, can I tell them about the challenge?
Well, yeah, real fast. Super fast.
Well, this time the Millennials win again. Then, bye, Joanne and Stacy. Bye, Survivor fans.
That was super fast. Thanks, Liam. Thanks, Becca. Next up, we got a call from Marla and Sarah.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. Hi, Survivor friends. This is Marla.
And this is Sarah.
With our feedback. Sarah, what do you think of the episode?
I don't know about you, but when I go in Survivor, I'm wearing a one-piece.
Good call. We enjoyed the part of the episode where the wave knocked Jeff Probst over, and we did have to watch that repeatedly. Now, we did have something a little more serious than our usual feedback to say when we were watching Adam. We have had some personal experience with what Adam is going through in our house. I had breast cancer a few years ago, and I wanted to say that I know what Adam's mom is going through, and I know when I had cancer, I very much wanted Sarah to continue to go after her dreams. And in fact, one of the first things we talked about was that I would continue to drive her to gymnastics every week through my whole treatment. And I did. So we're hoping that they're doing fine. And I really hope that Adam can continue to enjoy his experience because I know that must be giving his mom a lot of joy.
I'm just glad you're okay.
Thank you, sweetheart. So we hope everyone out there is okay. We hope you all have a wonderful week. Joanne and Stacy, thanks for all you do. And don't forget, get a one piece. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Sounds like great advice. Thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing some of your personal story there. It made me remember driving with my mom to Marietta when she was getting radiation treatments for her cancer, and in those trips, and looking forward to being with her during that and getting banana milkshakes at Arby's. I don't know why that popped back into my head, but that was part of that too.
I didn't know they had banana milkshakes.
Okay, thanks again, Marla and Sarah. Next up, we got an email from Titus in Boston. Boston strong this week. Hello, wooing from here. Oops, talk about overanalyzing the preview on the last feedback show. I thought Lucy would surprise me, but even I got blindsided. Big shout out to Michala for a great performance in both challenges. I wasn't sure David would play the idol, but I'm slightly glad he did. We shall see how this turns out. By the way, Stacy, soju is a wonder concoction that I have had the honor of meeting once or twice. Is that good, Shivers? Does that work?
Yep, that works.
Hope the swap ends favorably. Ciao. Thanks, Titus. Next up, let's check in with Drew for some winners and losers.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. Hey, everyone. This is Drew. Just a few thoughts about this last episode. David, what? I just have so many questions about David. I have a lot of questions about Lucy, too, but I have a feeling that they're just not going to get answered, so... A couple of thoughts. I do think that Lucy was kind of pushy, but I also think that Ken totally overreacted. I thought that his plan actually was pretty good, but he still just took things a little too personally, and I don't think that that's how they were meant. But anyway, the more we see of Ken, the more I like him, but the more I think he just has a lot of unresolved issues from his past. Like, there's just this kind of insecurity, which you don't expect from this, handsome, fit, constantly posing model guy, But whatever the case, time to move on, Kenny. You're a good guy, everything's fine. Yay, they gave them their totally impractical for physical activity swimsuit. At least some of them. But seriously, I liked the challenges. I just thought the Michala thing was kind of silly, especially since the commercials that I happened to catch were basically advertising that as the draw of the episode. I mean, it just made it seem kind of salacious when it wasn't that at all. Oi, ratings. Oh, hi, Waffles. Kitty came to say hello. And you can't hear it, but Charlie is just laughing and laughing at himself in his bed. I don't know what's so funny, but he is just laughing and laughing and laughing. Anyway, when the Millennials lost that reward feast, the wife quipped, they're probably going to ask if they can at least get a participation sausage. Oh, snap. Oh, and of course my vote out pick finds the idol. That's twice this season already, but hey, at least I've scored full save points every week so far. That's something. And really... it's not like it's a challenge to find the idols anymore. It's just a matter of luck more than anything these days. But it's still exciting for the superfan, I guess. Anyway, that's it for me. Winner of the week, Jessica, because those eyes. I don't think her eyebrows went down a tiny bit once those votes started being read. Loser of the week, also Jessica, because man, she really almost did a number on her own self. She's so lucky that David, again, pulled that trick out of his hat. That really surprised me. That just really surprised me. He's either a strategic genius or a survivor idiot. Time will tell. Anyway, that's it for me. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
I love that summary there. Yes, time indeed will tell. Okay, let's check in with our Kenny.
Hey guys, it's Kenny from Dallas. Kind of a strange episode. Couldn't figure a few things out. Primarily, I could not understand the motivation David had for giving his immunity idol up. I don't see what it gets him in the short term. I don't see what it gets him in the long term. I think it makes him more of a likely target for someone to go out in the relatively near future. I don't know if he gave up his idol just for the sake of giving it up to make a so-called big move. But if it was a big move, I think it's a big move to nowhere. Something else I didn't understand, and I didn't understand the answer Lucy exactly gave you when you asked her, was why they would, the Gen X tribe would choose to have Chris from originally the Bigfoot tribe, I think, sitting in a suspended chair while they pulled him up, and you have these 100-pound women trying to drag him around. It makes no sense. You ask about comparisons to life experiences. It's asking when my kids were 3-year-old to give me a piggyback ride. It makes no sense at all. Something which I guess made sense to Jeff, but came across as a little smarmy, was when Michala lost her top, and Jeff really got into it, where that's the way to go, that's the way to do it, as if he were encouraging other women to do the same thing. But I'm sure he really didn't think that. This is a strange season. I don't have a player who's really coming out, or several players who are coming out as clear alpha players, clear leaders, who I think in the pack to win this season. Usually there are several. We may not know the exact one, but it essentially emerge as dominant players. There really is no one right now. Though I can tell you that I think it's extremely unlikely that David's going to win it with his bonehead gameplay. I think Cece is extremely unlikely to be the winner. I think Hannah has no chance. Figgy has no chance. Taylor is kind of goofy, no chance. But wait a second, Taylor, Fabio, who knows? Anyone can win this game, I guess. It's been a precedent in the past where a non-entity can win the game, so maybe this is the year again. Interesting season with no front runners, I think. Take care, guys. Bye.
Thanks, Kenny. Well, what Lucy was saying when we asked her that in the interview was it was because Chris and Ken, and who else was it? Oh, it was David. Well, at least Chris and Ken could move through the obstacle course so fast, and they thought that would be an advantage, and
David was their puzzle person.
Did seem to sort of work out that way. They did finish with an advantage, even with David going through there. And David got some high stepping in. So, yeah, it was a little bit of confusing logic. Maybe that's what you're referring to. And I agree. There are no real standouts, although Jay is just getting lots of mentions in the extra videos.
Everybody likes him.
Yeah, they're really talking about how much they want to play with him, how well he's playing. And that's not obviously coming through in the primary episode. We see him working really well with Michelle to flip the script on Mari, but we don't get to see a whole lot, and they're not being tested as much because they don't have to go to tribal. So it's still too soon, I guess, for the big players to emerge, maybe. Of course, he's also super cocky and arrogant in some of his confessionals in the extra videos, too, which I didn't necessarily expect. So there's definitely a couple different versions of him. Okay, moving on, we got an email from Jack in California.
Hi, all you Survivor fans out there. Just by watching the last episode, it reminded me that when I started watching the show, I would have wanted to participate in all of the Survivor challenges because they all look like a lot of fun, and they still do.
Yep.
I'm glad to see Adam found the idol. Let's talk about Gen X for a second. Darn you, Jessica, the preview, and Lucy. Jessica probably just ruined some of the trust she gained by going to Lucy and telling her about the plan. I blame the editing because last week I had Cece going because of the preview. The preview for this week showed Lucy being the new leader, and I thought there was no way she would be the next to go, and yet she was. I love the editing, but it gets me every time.
Yeah.
I don't know if David made the right choice to use his idol on Jessica because he is so paranoid. I think he may be in trouble now that he's lost the idol. For next week, I have no idea what to expect because of the tribe swap, but only time will tell. Take care. All right. Thanks, Jack. Up next, we have a voice clip from Brandon.
What's up, Joanne and Stacy and Survivor fans? Brandon from Cleveland. Calling to give some thoughts on this week's episode. All I have to say is Michala, B. Chris, B. Adam, awesome. David, not sure. Good move, bad move, I don't know. Ken, wah, kind of crybaby-ish this episode. Anybody else? Oh, yeah, Lucy, you got some splaining to do. Okay, that was probably a really bad Ricky Ricardo impression. But anyway, that's all I got to say for this week. Talk to y'all next week. Peace.
Excellent,
like
Ricky
that.
Ricardo. I think you pulled it off. Good job, Brandon. Okay, let's check in with Joe, see what he thought about episode 4.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy and all Survivor fans. Joe from Huntersville, North Carolina. Wow. What a great episode. The water reward challenge was just fun. I was at the edge of my seat, pulling for the Gen Xers. I was certain David would screw up their chances, but
me too.
No! It was definitely a one-man game with Chris dominating the Millennials. Boy, that Michala is a fighter. If she was just as good as making allies, I would say she has a real shot at winning. Unfortunately, I think interpersonal relationships are her weakness. The immunity challenge was also exciting, up until they had to solve the puzzle. It was like watching paint dry after that. I thought it was funny that Zeke, who was not working on the puzzle, came up with the solution for the Millennials. He is actually more formidable than I would have thought. Did you catch Cece's extra video where she was throwing David under the bus for losing the puzzle part of the challenge? Hey, Cece, have you ever examined your performance on any challenge? Wow, what a piece of work. So, my USB Adam now has an immunity necklace. You go, Adam. I think I discovered why Lucy didn't get any airtime in the first 3 episodes. She was quite irritating when she opened her mouth. As far as the shuffle goes, wouldn't it be funny if all the alphas were put on one tribe? That would put Brett, Chris, Jay, Taylor, Michala, Ken, Michelle, and Zeke or Will. I ran out of alphas. On the same tribe. Then that would leave Cece, David, Jessica, Sunday, Figgy, Hannah, and Will or Zeke on the other tribe. Wow. Would that be a lopsided shuffle? So for future episodes, the burning questions are, will David keep up his redemption arc? Will Cece get a clue? Will another power couple be formed between Jay and Hannah? Will Ken reveal that he actually had a sex change operation right before coming on the show? Till next time.
Okay. I think what we're going to see, it looked like in one of the extra videos where Probst is handing out the new buffs, he had 2 different trays, so they're probably going to try to go for an even mix of men and women as much as possible.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah.
He'd have, so many on the one tray for the women and so many for the men, and so the
Just
tribes
go back and forth randomly between the genders.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thanks, Joe. Next up, we got an email from Josh, the Plush Moose from Massachusetts. Dear Joanne and Stacy, this week's episode was better, and I enjoyed both challenges. We're definitely still in the early stages of an all-newbie season, though, with some truly mystifying gameplay. This week's observations. It was appropriate that the rest of the Millennials went off on a play date with the other goats while superfan Adam got a clue. The way they told each other to be quiet during the goat hunt reminded me of Elmer Fudd. True Millennial moment. Adam whining about getting only the clue, not the idol. Watching Chris manhandle smaller Millennials in the water during the reward challenge reminded me of a grizzly bear messing with 2 salmon. I like that. Hannah is the annoying little sister Adam never wanted. Follows you around, likely going to tattle on you. Chris carried Gen X in the reward challenge, so it was only fair that they returned the favor in the immunity challenge. Oh, that's good. For all of the talk about Gen X being bad at puzzles, the elapsed time in the immunity challenge shows that Millennials aren't experts either. The only things missing when the Millennials shouted out the puzzle answer was Pat and Vanna. Jessica plays like a district attorney. Given how subtly she approached Lucy, I'd bet that she uses a sledgehammer at home when she wants to crack a walnut. I'm still scratching my head about David using the idol to save Jessica. I could see doing it near the end to secure a jury vote, but throwing away the idol this early when you're not on the chopping block and a swap is likely just seems dumb. David's idol play strengthened my argument that he plays like Ty, short-term, emotional, non-strategic. I gotta agree there. It's just an even stronger and stronger comparison. Lucy definitely got a Willard edit, largely invisible except when eating, suddenly found a voice, then found the exit. The secret scene with Chris made me laugh. I don't think a 90-second bear hug from Chris was the kind of hug the Millennials were looking for. Lucy's exit interviews and day after video confirmed that her edit was an example of what you see is what you get. She really is a pushy tiger mom. Next time, Gen X takes a break from carnival games to go on a scavenger hunt, and then drop your buffs. Will the swap spell the end for the good ship Thaler? Anyway, that's all I have for now. Thanks, Joanna and Stacy, for all you do. I can't wait to hear what the other fans have to say. Thank you, Josh. Next up, we got some audio from JayWaffles.
Hello, Joanna and Stacy and all the Survivor fans at home. This is JayWaffles from Canada with feedback for Episode 4, Gen X versus Millennials. And I gotta start by saying that this was a great episode with a veritable emotional roller coaster, including many fun, heartfelt, and exciting moments. So did anyone else smell a big move against Lucy about 5 minutes into the episode? She had more screen time than seen in previous episodes combined, and most of it was not very complimentary. It's unfortunate, as I think she showed ample leadership capabilities in orchestrating the blind side against Jess, someone who she was initially close to, and while David provided the proverbial wrench to her plan, it was ultimately Ken who persuaded him to throw it. The curious thing is that even though Ken's feelings were hurt, he still stuck to the plan and voted Jess out. And while we're talking about Ken, The more I hear him speak, the more I think he sounds like a certain Italian boxer from Philadelphia. Hey, yo, Lucy comes up to me on the beach and tells me to vote for and says I can't talk to anyone and doesn't even say please. Okay, admittedly not the best impression, but I get a kick out of it every time he's speaking. And while we're on the topic of voices, I would pay real money to listen to a full conversation between Brent and Sunday. It's just too bad that these two aren't being heavily featured in the early part of the season. Okay, challenge time. While I appreciated both challenges, I agree that the reward was much more fun to watch. Seeing the castaways give it everything they got, including apparently their bathing suit tops, really shows how hard they are playing. I also did not fully realize the size of Chris and found it hilarious how he was able to manhandle his opponents. The immunity challenge was certainly innovative, but a bit boring to watch, especially considering the puzzle at the end took so long to complete. And I'm with you guys. Who keeps thinking David is good at puzzles? Even Lucy said it on her exit interview. I'm not saying that I would fare any better, though. In fact, I'm so bad at that type of word scramble that I may still be out there today working on it. Just a quick thought about Adam and the immunity idol. I was so pleased to see that he was able to find not only the idol, but also the clue. It was very touching to see the tribute to his mum. I do hope that she was able to see his special moment. Oh, and David. While I appreciate big moves, this was just a bit short-sighted. Granted, I'm not sure that he was aware there would be a swap coming, but still, he's still not a target, and Jess was never his ally. Hindsight being what it is, I'm sure he would like to take that moment back. And there's also a question about where to watch extra clips for Survivor. I found, being from Canada, that CBS is blocked on YouTube, so there is an uploader by the name of Idle Thoughts that actually mirrors all the posts, and I'm able to watch them in Canada. So for those that are locked out of those and can't see them, well, that's your ticket in. Have a great week. Bye.
Awesome. Great observations.
Insight,
and a good tip for everyone that gets hit by these stupid geographic restrictions. Thanks for that, JayWaffles. Next up, let's check in with Rashmi.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy and all my Survivor friends. This is Rashmi from Perth. Now, I have a few observations about this episode, which I thoroughly enjoyed. No vote out point, sadly. Number one was David's idol play. In my book, it was a dumb move, but it was a great TV moment. Jessica is a flip-flopper and will never back up David, so David, no point playing it for her. Hunting for the goat. How about looking for a goat in your own tribe and then dragging it right till the end? At least you'll get some money for that. I love the community challenge and seeing how the Millennials' logic worked as against the Gen Xers. The reward challenge was brutal and great to watch, especially seeing Jeff being dumped by the waves was good fun. The third and final Asian is out of Survivor. Now, is that a conspiracy or not? Ken came across as just what he is, a dumb doll. In fact, I quite laughed when Lucy said he's emotional like a girl. I loved Lucy's interview with you, Joanne. She came across as so honest and so real. That really touched me. Now, just before I finish off this feedback, doesn't Jessica's eyes remind you of Eliza's? They nearly pop out of her face. Very interesting. That's about it for my observations for this episode, and I'm looking forward to the tribe swap and to see who goes with whom and whether the love goggles couple is going to be together or not. Okay, waiting to hear what everybody else has to say. Bye.
Thanks, Rashmi. Okay, next up, we got a trio, Pepsi, Christina, and Shanna.
Hello, it's Pepsi and Christina and Shanna from Canada. And this is, my second time calling in.
And our first time. But we're big fans of the show.
So holy moly, what an episode. We saw fights and tears and a blind side.
And so just to make it a little bit more fun, because some of us missed the JSFL cutoff, we have our own side challenge. We've all picked players, and if your player gets voted out, you're in charge of bringing wine for the next week.
Now, to the episode.
So, Adam's tears, we thought that was really touching when he found the idol. In the shallows, so we've all kind of decided we're going to join Team Adam, except for our shallow side, we're still rooting for Ken.
He's just too good looking to not cheer for. And as for next week, we're really sad about the tribe swap because we think it kind of nullifies what David did today with the idol playing. And we're worried that he's not going to do very well on a new tribe without having bought some votes.
It was also interesting to see the setup for next week with all the people scrambling to find the idol. It kind of reminded us of the Braun tribe doing that last season.
For next week, we have no idea who's going home, but we're super excited because we get to see more from the millennial players because we feel like we haven't really seen much of them from the past 2 episodes.
Anyways, those are our thoughts. So thank you so much, Joanne and Stacey. We love your podcast. Can't wait to hear what everyone else has to say.
Bye.
Bye.
Excellent. Good job,
Awesome.
ladies. Thank you for that. Okay, let's check in with Paul and get his thoughts on episode 4.
Hey, Paul, Louisiana here, and well, my USB David doesn't realize it, but if he can last longer than Jessica, he's just swapped out his idol for a legacy advantage. And did you see the size of Jessica's eyes during and after that vote out? I mean, they started out wide, but they ended up being bigger than Lucy's were, even after the final vote was read. Or was that just her swelling? All I can say is it's no wonder sand got in her eyes during the storm. So, was Adam talking to us or to the cameraman after he found that idol and asked, "Do you think she saw it?" Because it sounded to me like he was actually waiting for an answer. And does the idol look cheap or what? I mean, it honestly looks like a fake to me. And the whole idol thing reminds me to ask this question that's been on my mind. Could Jessica be purposefully careless with her legacy advantage and purposefully allow someone else to find it to give the illusion that the finder has an advantage in the game when, in reality, since it can't be taken, Jessica does? That could lead to a fun situation, but I still haven't been able to work out how it could help strategically. And then there's that goat. Does anyone else wish that the Millennials could have gotten closer to it? I mean, I'm sure it would have been pure comedy gold. Maybe Figgy could even fall for it. Get it? Fall for it? Okay, so if there's a winner's at it, I think that Ken is sharing it with Michala. Both of these players are true to themselves and scoring high on my winnability scale. And that stare that Ken gave Lucy, it was like a vampire look from True Blood or Twilight, which I've never actually seen, so maybe not Twilight. It was so uncomfortable. It was like only with daggers coming out of his eyes and going straight into Lucy's mind. I have to say that I'm really liking this guy, but I'm also worried about how he reveals everything so easily. That could be a problem. And then there's Jessica, who showed a complete lack of tact when she confronted Lucy about what was going down with the vote. And then did I hear Lucy say that her family dislikes her from time to time? I mean, take a hint. How could she not see how Ken reacted to her demands? Normally I feel at least somewhat sorry for the person voted off, but this time around I felt sorry for her family. I don't know about you, but she was far nicer when she didn't say anything. And wasn't that word puzzle brutal? 30 letters to spell out a phrase? I'm glad I didn't do that one, but I have to say that I missed most of the gathering of the letters because I was looking for the non-existent safety ropes that would stop the, porch swing from dropping to the ground and breaking the legs of the person in it if the rest of the tribe lost control. I guess that when you start the season with 20 people, you have expendables, huh? So next week we have a real honest-to-goodness mix-up, which will diffuse all of the fun back at the Gen X tribe. We'll still get the immediate fallout, but when it comes to who will be voted off next, well, your guess is as good as mine. David is doing better than I'd ever hoped, and I hope this doesn't screw things up for him, but he appears to be a small fry and keepable for now. Whoever leaves next will be someone powerful like Brett or Chris. But if Zeke and Chris end up on the same tribe, I'm pretty sure that Zeke will do his best to save Chris. Love is in the air. And I guess that's it for me. Everyone take care. Bye now.
Yeah, I like that. I was thinking Zeke might have been crushing on Chris a little bit before the season began, so that wouldn't surprise me. So, thanks, Paul.
And they have more men than women left in the game.
Right, with 3 women down, yep.
And only one guy.
So you think Rajmi's right? Was there some kind of conspiracy there? All the Asians get taken out first?
No.
I think that was a coincidence.
I do too.
But I could see how someone would look at it and go, yeah, I don't think there's anything sinister underway there. I'm with Paul too. I was looking to see how if they had some kind of break or stop on that, where they were hoisting them up. those 3 different levels to grab the letters, and it didn't jump out at me either. It did seem a little iffy, but I guess that added to some of the excitement of doing that part of the challenge. Your tribe really held your future in their hands.
That's right.
There was a bar they had to duck under, but I noticed that Figgy got out from under it right away when she got up there. It was like a safety bar that came over them, kind of like you see on the amusement park rides. It was supposed to help them from falling out the front.
No, it wouldn't have. I mean, it would help, but it wouldn't stop it if something,
well,
one
as big
side
as Chris
of it
is,
fell
he would
and
just lean
dropped
forward and then it would, but he would catch himself.
They wouldn't fall out.
Yeah.
But it would help prevent it.
Okay, you want my David theory? You've just been waiting anxiously to hear it.
Anxiously
You forgot I
waiting.
even mentioned it, right?
No, I didn't.
So I flashed back to Cook Islands.
Okay.
Billy.
Okay.
Candace. Remember what happened there?
Yes.
Billy professed his love for
I love
Candace.
you.
I love you. That's right.
We have Billy saying, I love you.
Yeah.
He gave us a soundbite.
Yeah, he did. So I was
love
thinking,
Billy.
with all the problems that Jessica had with her eyes, that she might have been blinking. David mistook it for winking, thought that there was a secret connection between them, given that he's a writer, spends most of his time in his own head. That's right. That was a good squint wink there you did. Yeah, exactly. That's enough to flip my switch. So that did it for David. He's convinced that he and Jessica have something special now, and he needed to save her. What do you think about that theory? It makes as much sense as anything else, doesn't it? Huh? Doesn't it?
Don't even know what.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was an infection wink that he mistook for love.
But her eyes are better.
And now he's out to save her. I like what Paul said about he bought a legacy advantage. He very well may have done that inadvertently.
Ooh.
So there's something to that. That's probably something you can get behind a little better than my secret love theory for David.
Yeah, no, I don't see that at all.
Yeah,
But,
not a Cook Islands flashback.
No.
I don't know. You let that noodle on that a little bit.
all
let it
Candace said
marinate.
was, well, we'll miss you.
Yeah.
She loves me.
Exactly. Yeah, that could have been enough. Just one of those infection winks. He might have even got it, with different eyes a couple different times sitting around the fire. Yep, that's what he's on a mission now to save his new love.
Yeah.
You kind of hope not, but you could almost see it. Yes, you waited for us to finish the episode for me to share this incredible theory I had.
I don't know what the weather's telling. We're looking out the window here, and the winds are picking up. And
yes.
I think Mother Nature is
encouraging us to wrap up.
Reacting to your theory.
Mm-hmm. The leaves are shaking back and forth.
It calmed down. It just while you were saying that, all the trees just blowing and carrying on.
Oh, you're saying it's affirmation.
Down.
It's affirmation. It's a confirmation that I'm right.
I think it disturbed
nature. All right, my theory disturbed nature. Well, yeah, there's definitely, if you had a one-word summary for people's thoughts about David's choice in episode 4, it would be what? I think that was the summary that we got.
I'm anxious for David to tell us.
Yeah, I was surprised we didn't get anything in the extra videos. Yeah, I was really thinking there would be a little more, but
no,
they're saving it because it's going to be a big reveal.
I hope they're going to show
when he
us
professes his love for Jessica.
If they do one of the, shut up. But if they do one of those where they don't show us when they come back, that will be devastating because I want to hear it.
Well, what's really going to break his heart is that she turns to Ken for comfort after the confusing tribal council.
I think she'll do both. I think she will gravitate toward Ken. I'm so sorry I didn't believe you. You were right. I just didn't believe you. And I'm so sorry. And then, of course, I think she will feel somewhat obligated to David for at least a little while.
She'll quip thanks when they get back. Yeah. And then she'll ask to go off with
Ken. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and apologize. And spend some a long time with Ken. All right. Well, there you go. There's the thoughts on episode 4. And did we get some predictions? I think the prediction is we have no idea what's going to happen with the shuffle.
That's the biggest one, yeah. Because we don't know what the shuffle's going to be, how they're going to work it.
Everyone is in favor of splitting up. Failer?
Whoever, that. Yeah. But whoever gets Chris is going to be ecstatic.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, yes, we want Chris.
At least for a challenge or two, yes.
Yes, until the merge.
Well, I like that
Then they
that
wanna
idea
get
of
rid of
teaming
him.
up Chris and Michala, too.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that would be powerhouse.
Yes, hard to beat for sure in a physical challenge.
Yeah, so hopefully
I
it
hope
won't be
it's
too
not-
one-sided.
Yes, exactly. That's what we always hope for with the random draws, is that it doesn't end up being very lopsided, and we look forward to seeing how alliances are rebuilt or new ones are formed. And I really want to see someone make a fake idol. There was lots of talk at the beginning of the season in the preseason interviews about them potentially making fake idols, and the idol's a seashell, and you could find a shell like that maybe and go with it.
Well, and Paul mentioned that it didn't really look like, an idol.
Exactly.
And that was the whole point, is that they could easily make fake idols and make people believe it.
Yep.
Or they wouldn't believe it. They could show them the idol and they wouldn't believe it.
There you
They
go.
would think it was a fake. So we're waiting to see somebody do something with that.
Yes.
Come on, Zeke.
It would be interesting to have a whole tribe show up with fake idols.
You think Adam will show Zeke?
Could be, because Zeke was one of the ones he was just really excited about making a fake idol and sharing it with one of his alliance members, or letting him see one that was a fake.
Well, Zeke was, yeah, but I don't know about Adam.
No, I don't know that Adam was so keen on it.
That's
He's
what I'm
probably gotta
saying.
be
Will
more
Adam
protective.
show Zeke?
I understood what you said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then I just went with that to say that would be great for Zeke, because that was one of his master plans.
But he's gravitating more toward Jay right now, I think.
He is a big Jay fan for sure, as
And even
is
Hannah's
Hannah.
a big Jay fan.
Yep.
So there's in the extra clips they're talking about it.
Yeah. Okay, we want to thank everybody who took time to send in, call in, write up, send in those thoughts and predictions for us to enjoy this week. Thank you very much, Survivor family. To quote Shea, we very much enjoyed that.
Right. And don't forget to get your picks in before the deadline on Wednesday, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific.
Have a good one.
Hi, this is Billy Garcia from Survivor Cook Islands. I love you.